Comrade Show with Comrade Oriaki, live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and be the first to know. This is the Comrade Show. The Comrade Show with Comrade Oriaki, live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and be the first to know. This is the Comrade Show. The Comrade Show with Comrade Oriaki, live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and be the first to know. This is the Comrade Show. The Comrade Show with Comrade Oriaki, live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and be the first to know. This is.
Okay, yes, Edo people and Nigerians across the world, a very, wonderful day to you all. This is the Comrade Show, and of course, this is the segment that we call the Comrade and Friends. My name is Comrade Oriaki, and today we are going to be looking at Nigeria at 61. You recall that a couple of days ago, Nigeria celebrated our independence. Nigeria is now 61 years old, and we want to look at the Nigeria 61, and of course, all that attended the celebration of Nigeria independence, even to this moment. Beyond that, just recently, the governor of Edo State released a list of his commissioners, nominees, and 11-man list, and we can speak now to say that the House of Assembly has received the list, and the screening process of those nominated is ongoing right now. And of course, two persons were equally nominated, of course, to serve as special advisors. Now, how has Edo State received this information? This is coming after a very long time. So we are going to be looking at that. And of course, a whole lot of politics around Edo State. As usual, I have with me, of course, the faces the musketeers of the Comrade Show. And of course, without much ado, I'm going to be bringing them on right now because we're going to, be together to analyze these issues. And at some point, we're going to open the line so that Edo people can actually speak out and express themselves on how, they feel about these issues. And let me quickly bring on my brother, for the sake of this program. I call him Comrade Dr. Tony, and myself I say, Comrade Tony, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, my brother, Comrade Oriaki. Edo people, Nigerians all over the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching us. Happy first Sunday of the month to all of you. I greet everybody. Thank you for joining us. Please share the broadcast, both on our Facebook and YouTube handles. Share the broadcast. Thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you so much.
Yes, please share the broadcast. That's from Dr. Tony and myself, I say. I actually have in the house the other musketeer of the Comrade Show, of course, the one who famously nicknamed this program the Sunday Tonic. And that is talking of my brother, Comrade Pharmacist, Austin Iremira. Comrade Austin, please.
Good day, my people. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the globe. You are welcome again to our Sunday Tonic, where we talk on topical issues affecting our country, Nigeria, and indeed Edo State. Today is also special because only a few days ago, we had our independence. So I say happy independence to all Nigerians, wherever you are. Remember the deal. The Comrade Show is for us. Let us share. Thank you.
Yes. Well, he said happy independence. It's part of what we're going to be talking about. what is really happy about this independence. However, we equally have a guest, one that is known to very many, one who's been doing so much to promote the Nigerian community, particularly the Edo community in England. He's won series of awards for what he does. And just recently, the Prime Minister of England gave him a very notable award. An award that is really won by people, but award won by people that the government of United Kingdom, of course, has acknowledged their work and their contributions to human development. I have with us one who's going to be helping us to analyze this whole matter. I have with us High Chief Musa Amedu. High Chief, please. Hi, Chief. We may have lost your audio.
Sorry about that. Thank you for having me on your program. It's a very big privilege, and I think it's worth celebrating. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hi, Chief, we are going to start with you. Nigeria at 60. What do you make of it?
I think you've asked me an intelligent question, but unfortunately, I don't know if I have an intelligent answer for two reasons. When you are not part of a process, it's difficult to speak as an outsider. What do I mean by that? The Nigeria elite have not been able to make the narrative open for all of us to play a role. You just said not too long how God have made it possible for me to have won a couple of awards recognized all over the world. Then it beats your imagination to imagine why you're not part of the narrative. We should be the ones celebrating Nigeria at 61. We understand how you run a state. We also do understand how this situation should look like. When people choose to claim your knowledge in absentia, that is what happens. The Nigerian story is incomplete. The Nigerian story will need to be rejigged. We must be equal partner in progress. Without that, this Nigerian story is irrelevant. And with time, we need to find a way to accommodate each other, speak the truth, and we will be fine. I think that is why it is utterly difficult to discuss Nigeria progressively at that level you are looking at it from.
Interesting. Dr. Agbo, I'll come to you very quickly on this. Earlier, my brother, comrade from Irreverent, when he was, of course, introduced, said happy independence. Dr. Agbo, happy independence. Should that be, should we be happy that Nigeria is 61? Looking at all that is happening.
Thank you very much, my brother, Comrade Lante Ikonsa Oriahi. Let me, say a very good day to my fellow panelists today, especially High Chief Musa Amedu, and congratulate him, first of all, for the Light Award, which the UK Prime Minister bestowed on him a couple of weeks ago that we all celebrated globally. Congratulations, sir. We cannot fail to, mention such great news, especially now that you are here. So thank you very much, sir, for that and what you are doing for people, the vulnerable in the society through your organization. So be that, having said that, I want to go to your question now, Comrade Lante. I will join Austin to say happy 61st independence to Nigerians across the world for our 61 years of nationhood. I must tell you that it has become a yearly routine because I think last year we were doing the 60th and we were hearing a lot of speeches and people were saying all sorts and all that. So this year again, we've had it. There is nothing really much to celebrate, even for very high optimists like me. I must tell you that it's been really difficult for me to be bouncing around, about this 61st independence anniversary we had on about two days ago. Very, very hard. Because when you look at key critical sectors that makes a nation to be very oiled and flowing, Nigeria is lacking. Last night, I was trying to edit an article I wrote, and for the first time, I was really struggling not to start insulting people. For the first time ever. So I'm not the type of person that do those kind of things, because the country is just at the moment is just stagnant, and you can see that on the faces of Nigerians. That even when you say happy independence, some of them really find it difficult to even say it back to you. So that is a sign. Is a signpost to say that all is not well. Yeah, but nothing much to really celebrate. And like it's been said most of the time, what we are having in Nigeria is just motion without movement. It is not something to be cheerful about. So that is what I would say for now, my brother Lante.
Okay, if I understand you clearly, the happy independence as it is a fulfillment of ritual, a ritual that takes place. But before I come to you, Comrade Pharmacist Ireniran, I want to play a video, a footage. This was, reported to have happened just a couple of days before independence. It happened in southern Kaduna. Please just watch, and I'll come to you, please.
Yanka, Yanka. Podamos shi da sauri ba. Bayo baya.
Well, my brother, pharmacist, what you just saw, the picture is quite gory. Are bodies of Nigerians reportedly killed by, a terrorist, bandit or insurgent or whatever in southern Kaduna. And this story is a story that is prevalent across, it's been prevalent for the past years across the northern part of Nigeria. That is extending hugely now to the southern part of Nigeria. Insecurity is very high. Nigerians are dying needlessly. As a matter of fact, as a follow-up to that page, this image, came out, on the internet to say the bodies of, those people are being buried in mass graves and all of that across different parts of Kaduna. This has become a story characteristic of the Nigerian state today. Comrade Remiran, you earlier said happy independence. Should we, looking at the way Nigeria is today, should we really stand firmly to say happy independence? Comrade Remiran.
Thank you so much, my brother, Comrade Lante, for that wonderful question. Just before I answer your question, I want to join yourself and Dr. Tony Agbons and indeed the Comrade Show to congratulate I Chief for the award he received recently and for what he has been doing and will continue to do to our fellow Africans in the United Kingdom. So, High Chief, congratulations once again.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful.
Thank you. Just to go back to your question, I know in the intro, I did wish our people a very happy Independence Day. And thank you for the opportunity you've given to me so I can conceptualize that. Well, to the extent that we are alive and our country is 60, we just have to celebrate. So that's the only way one can say happy independence, just for life, because that life is the one that we don't have, is given to us by God. But to the extent of being a nation, I think there isn't so much to celebrate. And the video you just shown just now, goring as it is, it has become our everyday reality. I want to commiserate with the families of the people that will see that have been killed, not even given a befitting burial. May God console and comfort them. Coming back to our country, yes, there is Nigeria, just an entity. As a nation, there is nothing to be proud about. There is nothing to celebrate at 61. The 3 points of life rest on these 3 things: security, food, and shelter. Those are the 3 tripods. And if we go to Maslow's theory of need, you see those 3 as being very important. And to make a nation, you need to have those 3 things. Let us take them one after the other. Shelter. Is everybody in Nigeria, as it is now, have a roof under their head? Another question. The answer, obviously, is no. Food. Has food become enough for people to eat in our country, Nigeria? The answer, obviously, is no. In Western world, huge amount of money is given to farmers and people that make food available, so that food will be available for people to eat. Remember, if we don't eat very well, we can't even think. Then the last one, which is very important and underpins everything we do, is security. There is no gainsaying the obvious, that our country, Nigeria, is not secured. The video you showed just now is a true testament to that. So, to what make a nation, and to that extent, the simple answer is there isn't so much to celebrate. At 61, Nigeria has failed virtually all of us, except the elite. And even the elite, if they want to speak the truth, they know that the country has failed them. My only hope is that we are on the march towards restructuring. Let's hope that in subsequent years to come, we'll be singing the clarion call that we are now a nation. But Nigeria at 61, I join my other panelists to say there is nothing to write home about.
Thank you very much. I'll quickly go to High Chief. For the last round of questions from the Nigerian 61. High Chief, earlier when you spoke, I to be honest with you, I don't know how many of our viewers did understand you, particularly when you said that people like you have not been given the opportunity to play their own role in the matter. Sir, I want to ask you, what would you have done differently if you were given the chance to play a role in the matter? Now, particularly looking at this premise, we have a president who makes a debt profile of 12 trillion naira, and today it has risen to 35 trillion. We have a president who, when he was here, when he was contesting, he met the dollar exchange rate to be exchanged for just a little over 200 or 300 as it were. Today, dollar is chasing 600. The pound sterling is chasing 800. Okay? We have a president who met, a fairly deplorable, security situation. And today, after about 5 to 6 years of his presidency, the insecurity level in Nigeria today can only be compared to the time when Nigeria was having a civil war. We have a president that has brought Nigeria probably 50 years back, as it were. Now, when you said people like you have not been given the chance to play their role to determine the process of Nigeria 61, what do you mean, and what would you have done differently?
Thank you very much. People like myself will play that kind of role that brings about new thinking. The problem in Nigeria is not the people, it is the system. Buhari have not done anything as far as I'm concerned. Reason why: institutions makes a country, then you have key players. And what that means is that till date, it's difficult to see vacancy in any aspect of governance in Nigeria. That means without vacancy, you can't recruit new faces. I'm not saying I'm one of the best Nigerian. I'm saying that the Nigerian system is not involving enough in any way you can look at it to say, okay, we want the input. Look across the board, across country nations. They use their diaspora brain to run their country. You know why? Because they bring in new thinking. But in Nigeria, it is extremely difficult to introduce new ideas because those who are there have shut the door. So
I have to definitely take you on that because what is a bit I'm trying to digest very well. You said as far as you are concerned, Buhari has not done anything. Can you really expatiate on that?
what I mean, I think I'm trying to make it in a sarcastic response that if the president failed to change the situation for the betterment of the people, those people who are there will change the situation for themselves. I am not a big fan of attacking Buhari because I did not vote for him. And I have my reasons, and the reasons have prevailed. Becoming a president of a country is like putting your family on sabbatical. You don't really have time to run things privately the way you would want. What the time you have is to serve the people. That is not happening. What is happening in Nigeria is sycophantic utterances here and there, non-aligned. Nobody want to take responsibility for their comment. We are hungry every day. We are still in the dark. We don't have good roads to drive our car. Those are issues. And it is very laughable. It is comical if you look at it. And I think today we should change our focus, our mindset away from Buhari and start asking ourselves, how do we want Nigeria to look like? Nobody says that. It's like you find yourself on Facebook. If you do well, nobody take your like. If you're under investigation by AEC, you become a celebrity. What that means in Nigeria governance is that they are going for all the wrong things, not for all the good things. We are hungry, we are helpless, it has gotten to a point, if America says they are investigating in Nigeria, the Nigerians will be celebrating because back home, nobody hold them to account. Those are the pillars of governance that is missing in the Nigerian narrative. So it's not as to say Buhari is responsible, not responsible. It is difficult in governance to hold those in governing to account when you are actually not close to them or being there. I don't make my comment from afar. I have to be close for me to make my comment. That's why I made that comment.
Dr. Tony Agbansarafi, Nigeria at 61. The world is calling for everybody. Well, a lot of people are calling for restructuring of the system. Different calls here and there, but we have a federal government that is not yielding. Even as we speak, okay, people are advocating that you said it yourself that we are hoping that the next administration will forge a better direction for Nigeria. That next administration, okay, from 2023, for you, is it a reality? And I'm asking you this question. I want you to see this particular video, this footage, and my question is going to be premised on this particular footage. Just hang on there, because we need to start looking at some of these things very importantly. Let's just watch this, please.
That's it.
Okay. All right, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I wish you all safe journey.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. President, see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
That's easy. Thank you.
That's it.
Okay. All right, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I wish you all safe journey.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. President, see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
That's easy.
Okay, my bro. That is brother, Ahmed Tinubu, Jagaban of Lagos. He's very much indisposed, in recent time. And every now and again, pictures pop up of politicians across Nigeria going to visit him in London. On this occasion, the Deputy Senate President led a team of Nigerian political leaders, senators, and all of that to go and see him. And right on that occasion, he's been addressed as Mr. President, particularly when information is all over that he is being tipped to be the next president of Nigeria. And from what we see, this is a man who's indisposed, a man who's very old, very likely an apt replacement, okay, for Buhari and the way Buhari looks like now. Is this the future, sir?
Yeah, I think that is a challenge we have in Nigeria, and I think that was what High Chief was trying to point out, where we have a country where we don't have a system in place. I don't want to talk about other sectors. I know that our democracy is just we started in this current democratic dispensation started in 1999, so it's about 21 years now. The way we select our leaders is a major problem, and I must tell you, and I told some people in some WhatsApp group I belong to this week, I said, if Tinubu's name get to the ballot, and I'm saying this now again, if Tinubu's name, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if his name is on the ballot, he wins the election. He wins. And that is the way Nigeria is. Can you imagine somebody is already addressing him as Mr. President there, Your Excellency, Mr. President. So it is you take your turn, I take my turn, that kind of thing. So that is Nigeria for you. And to be honest, they are claiming that he came to the UK for a knee surgery. Knee, they said. And I've asked myself, I said, so this knee surgery, he cannot do it he can't do it in Lagos, he cannot do it in Abuja, he cannot do it in Port Harcourt, he cannot do it in Kaduna. So they come here. Even the president has been here. This is where he comes for treatment. All of them, our elite, they come to the UK, they go to Canada, they go to Germany, they go to America for treatment, and we have no hospital. So it's just like the country is just for them, our political elite, whether it's a PDP or it's APC. The country just belongs to them. They are the one enjoying everything. They are the ones that have the money. A lot of them, they've gotten from the contract they give to themselves, the money they take from the system. The system is not accountable at all. And I must tell you that despite all the security challenges the country is facing now, all you hear is whether the president should come from north or the president should come from south, or where the president will come from. Those are all what we hear. And if you even listen to the president's speech on October 1st, it didn't inspire anybody because nothing is just happening. So everywhere is flat. So people are scheming at federal level, at state levels, how they will get into office in 2023. Because once we get to January now, I'm telling you, everything about governance, especially at the federal level, is going to stop. People will be scheming, hypocrite and sycophants. They will be the one reigning all over the place. So it's very painful, my brother, when you see all these things. So for 2023, for me, except the Nigerian people, we remove the scale on our eyes and decide firmly to go another route. When I mean by another route, I'm talking of a democratic route, and then just go for a fresh option. We'll come back in 2024, 2025, saying the same thing again.
Lastly, on this issue of Nigeria 51, pharmacist Austin Iremera, do you see hope for Nigeria?
Thank you so much, my brother Tony Lamte, for that. You can see discussing Nigeria make you feel tired, so much so that I'm missing our names. It is really sad. It is a difficult one to answer. Sometimes you turn here and there, all you see is like there is no hope. But we mustn't remain here. Hope has to come. Our people have become so impoverished of ideas, of wealth, of knowledge, of capacity that we don't really know what we are doing. Look at that photo that you showed just now. These are Nigerians in London. These are Nigerians in London, apparently living in a place where they see everything moving on smoothly. And because of some fraction of pounds, they can sell their conscience and address that visitor as excellency in an election that has not taken place. How much more those in Nigeria? When we no longer talk of capacity and what you would do, it's just your turn, it becomes a problem. I had a ray of hope 2 weeks ago or last week when we heard of the third force or something, or the fourth force. But I don't know what is happening now. Because if we leave these politicians to it, my brother Lamte, they cannot change anything. That narrative has to change. And before I came to this program, I was trying to estray Nigeria to see where we've gone wrong. It has to even start from the grassroots, my brother Lamte. Our Nigerian president has become so powerful. The governors have become so powerful. And what has that done? It has weakened the local government. And that is where really politics starts. Our politics have become so much of money than of service. Myself and yourself and all four of us cannot even contest for high office because we don't have the money, even as much as taking form runs into millions, not to talk of campaigns. So if you look at everything, it is really bleak. But we must not remain like this. Something needs to happen. And the only thing that can happen is when the people realize that they are very powerful and strong. Like in the UK, government is scared of protest because protests ask questions. But in Nigeria, they will even crush you when you protest. And before you know, they will even use people within you to disseminate and crash your program. So it's like when we are on the other side, we see good. When we are part of them, we don't see good. But there's a common thing. If you govern well and do well, it becomes a blessing for everyone. When people are elected, you ask them, what is your legacy? But in Africa, and indeed Nigeria, there is even no legacy. And we reward people for the sake of rewarding them. It has to come from my backyard. It has to be south. It has to be north. We don't talk about capacity. And if we continue like this, my brother, the blink is just going bleaker and bleaker. I hope that is a dream that we wake up and have a Nigeria that we really want.
Thank you very much, Austin. We need to just move away from Nigeria as a city and go to Edo State. But just to lay a foundation, within last week, the governor of Edo State released a list of 11-man nominees to be commissioners. And of course, 2 other names were mentioned as special advisors to start working with immediate effect. The list of the 11 people, nominated by the governor are Oluwole Usamudiame Iyamu, Obey Okuri, John Usa Oviawe, Usave Itan Uzame, Monday Usagbovo, Mary Edeko, Joseph Eboigbe, Moses Agbuko, Isoke Omo, Andrew Daze Emata, Mrs. Ose Momo Omorome. And of course, the 2 special advisors named in the list were Kuso Usaye, special advisor on media project, and Sarah Esangbedu Adjose Adeogun, special advisor on strategy, policy, project, and performance management. These were the names released by the governor, and for the commissioners, the list has been sent. The House of Assembly in those states, from their breaks, they've resumed plenary, they've addressed the matter, subjected to the relevant House committee, and of course the Speaker, did ask that the list should equally be, sent back to the House within a few days. So the House is dealing with the list now. We are hoping, based on the way the House is moving, But very likely within next week or the week after, these commissioners will be confirmed, the ones that will be confirmed amongst them. Apart from that, I'd like to remind us that last Sunday, when we had our broadcast here on this same platform, we did say that from what we now know, that the list will be out soon. And by the grace of God, just a day or two after that, this list was released and all of that. And of course, the cabinet is not complete, but this one already released has been generating a lot. Positive vibes, negative vibes, controversies here and there. I want to look at this. And I want to start with my brother, Dr. Agbons. Dr. Agbons, the list is released. What are you hearing?
Yeah, thank you, my brother, Comrade Lante Ikponsa Oriakhi. Like you said, we actually talked about this Constitution of Edo State Executive Council extensively in our last broadcast on Sunday last week. And we kept using the word from what we know. I know a lot of my friends who watch this program, they were like, that word we not going to use, you, Austin, and the pharmacist. What do you mean by that? So I just said, well, it was a broadcasting language, and I cannot say more than that. And like you said, within 48 hours, 72 hours from that broadcast, the authentic list that was signed by the secretary to the Edo State government, was published. I want to say that it is quite refreshing that finally, at last, we have gotten to this stage. And I believe that the Edo State House of Assembly, they already swung into action. They are going to expeditiously look at this list and confirm the commissioners. But I want to also quickly point out that I tried to do some found out a few things about the list. And I must say that 4 of the 11, they are women, which is very good. And I believe some other lists will come out because I think the commissioners are more than, I think they are more than 11.
Is it 4 or 5?
There are 5.
Oh, there are 5. Okay. So I've got, just so that our people, I think our women who watch this program, they will be very happy to hear this. So I've got Professor Obehi Akoria. Oh, there are 5. I have 5 here. She's a professor of medicine. She's on the list. We have Dr. Joanne Osa of Yahweh. Dr. Joanne of Yahweh is currently the executive chairperson of the Edo State Universal Basic Education Board, SUBEB. She's a gender and education specialist with work experience in education, development, and gender across the 4 continents of the world. The list also contains Mrs. Maria Edeko. She is a former commissioner for social development and gender issues. She's also a former secretary of the International Federation of Women Lawyers and a former law lecturer at the Benson Idahosa University. The 3rd woman on the list is Princess Ose Momo Omogbe. She's also a former honorable commissioner of the Edo State Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning. And then we have Isoken Omo, executive chairman, Edo Development and Property Agency, popularly known as EDPA. So I just pick on these women. So 5 over 11 for me is it's not bad. So I must congratulate the governor for giving these women a chance. And when these women come in, you know what they bring to the table: efficiency and all that. So kudos to the men as well. I know maybe Austin will also mention some names he can pick from the men. So it's a good start, and we hope that by this week they will be confirmed, and then they have to hit the ground running. And like the Edo State government have always told us, they've been creating foundation and system for these guys to work. So it's one of the reasons that have delayed. Is one of the reasons. I say that again because there were some other reasons as well that delayed this list coming out before now. So yeah, it's very heartwarming that this list is out.
Hi, Chief. I'll come to you straight away. It has taken the governor nearly 1 year, 11 months or so, to name his cabinet. This is not a first-term governor. This is a second-term governor. Took him 11 months. And when he finally released this list, expectedly this is not the whole list, but on this list, the word on the street is that these are the governor's boys and girls, the governor's people that came with him from APC to the PDP. And that on this list, the word on the street, the people they call the old PDP, they are not represented on this list. So there's been a lot of talk about this list not being favorable to certain, segments of the group and stuff like that and all that. Chief, we've waited for a long time. After so much hassles, the governor has released a list, and yet the people, some of the people, not all of them, are still unhappy. Chief, how do you reconcile all of this?
I don't want to depress you or your viewers this evening. And the reason why that should be is the governor has spoken. The issue of selection rests with him. I wasn't part of the committee that selected the nominees. They are now in the House of Assembly undergoing the necessary scrutiny and so forth. So we must wait for them to be confirmed to see what they have for the Edo people. Back to the issue as to these people on the street, you said it all. They are on the streets. That is their tough. They can think anything, but they are not the governor. They don't run the states. What they can do and should do is to wait for the nominees to be confirmed. Perhaps the argument I've heard so far is that these faces are not old faces. These people, they are new faces. Edo State can only do well when you don't have old PDP, new PDP. They are all members of the society working for Edo State. You see, you need to break governance down to segments. Those who influence opinion can do it for and against. But at the same time, like Prof. Agbon said just now, that at last a list is out. It means the governor has taken his time in his own way. I'm not his spokesman. I'm not to defend him because he has competent people to do that. As an Edo citizen, a patriotic one at that, I just think street talk is good, but it does not change anything. The issues we have in Edo State, Obaseki and Philip does not need distraction. We should focus on how can we support the process and drive that process through. If we do that, two things will happen to us. We'll become a team player. If we fail to be a team player and fall back to the old shenanigan of I know that face, I don't know this face, this person is right, that person is not right, we're just missing the point. Government come and go. All you do in governance, if you miss it this time, you wait next time. And I think that's what we should be thinking. The Edo people should be articulating what they want the incoming executive members to do for Edo State. If you fail to do that and fall back to factionalization, the winner is those who will benefit, the loser are those who ought to have benefited.
Chief, I will still take you on a bit more before I come to Austin. I just want to read a comment from Divine Greatness. It says, Musa Amedu, the people on the street made a governor.
That is true.
Due respect.
That is true. I agree with you.
People on the street don't matter.
They don't matter seriously. Without the street people, there will be no government. And what has happened so far, the people on the street have a channel to speak to the governor. If I elected you, I will be on the phone to you or write to you. I'm not saying the people on the street don't matter. I'm saying now and finally, there's a list being processed that will form the government we've been waiting for. We should start thinking of what do we want in Edo State, how those people will work. And the bottom line at that point is the people have so much power. I'm not saying at any time they don't, but my question is, what do you do with your power? If a list has been sent to the House of Assembly, not yet confirmed, but to be confirmed, where then do I exercise my power as somebody who voted for the governor? Not too long ago, on this platform and another good platform, the problem was, oh, governor not form cabinet, so we don't know what they do. Now we now know what he's doing. So why don't we learn for once to give not necessarily peace? No, we don't. No, it's not about peace. It's about reality. We need to learn new things. What you are seeing here is that there's not enough information to process the ongoing in Edo State government, and that is why the street people are in a hurry. I'm not against them; it's their right to talk. But what is the outcome of the street conversation? That is my point. That is what should worry us the most.
Good. I will just read Moses Obakpolo says, we have given him the mandate, hence we will trust him to make the right decision. Beautiful. Now, talking of the right decision, Comrade Austin Iremira, 11-man list. Apparently, not all the not the entire list is out. Iremira, whatever the list is, whatever is being said, because just as people are saying, oh, this list does not favor some segments of the PDP. There are others who are saying, wow, this is a beautiful list. This is a wonderful list. What is your take, Iremira?
Thank you so much, Comrade Lamte. Just probably maybe we've used the wrong adjective here. I think we should address them as Edos instead of people on the street. Probably, I know what we are trying to say. Let's call all of us that voted for the governor, we are all Edos. And
some Edo people. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, and I, Chief Musa Ahmedu, thank God you gave him that opportunity to clear the air. And I think that was rightly cleared, that everybody that voted for the governor can ask one or two questions. I just want to put that into perspective. On the issue of the list, I think it's a good news that the list is out. But because we know what happened before the list came out, you would always expect one or two reactions. And I think that is fair. Remember, I said last week, we don't have an opposition anymore in Edo State. The people that voted Obaseki, we are now the new opposition. So sometimes people can air their view differently. But I think the governor will take that into perspective. I will say congratulations to the governor for finally releasing the list. My brother, Dr. Tony Agbons, has analyzed it so well, but I just want to put a few things, some of the good parts of the list that I find. Looking at it, I think majority of the nominees at the moment are young, and I'm very happy with that, because you realize that our country has become bedeviled with very old people with old ideas, but these are young ones. From their age, I can see that there isn't so much, people are not more than 60 or so. I'm not saying that those over 70 cannot contribute, but I think it shows the youthfulness in the new cabinet. Women as well, Dr. Agbons pointed that out. 45% of the 11 nominees are women. Kudos to the governor for having a good gender balance. Personally, I was also surprised because some of the faces, admittedly, are not really new to government. I have taken time to look at all of them. In that list, you have 2 former commissioners, you have 2 former executive directors of board, and 1 or 2 persons that have played a key role in the Obaseki government before now. So to that extent, people might be asking questions. Probably that's why we are here, because we know the story that have been going on within the PDP rank. Let us hope and pray that the 7 more to follow might also come from other divides, because it's also good to draw the governor's attention to the cries of the people. But we've also said in our program, commissioners don't mean anything when you don't have a good driver, because what the commissioner would do will depend on the leader. And I think Obaseki would have set a template and profile people that he feel would deliver on what he says to do for Edo State people. So to that extent, we are happy. At least the issue on Monday will no longer be there is no list. We have a list now, and I think the Edo State House of Assembly, they are working around the clock. Hopefully before the middle of next week, they will be giving portfolios, and we can then come back again to see if the right peg is put in round holes or if square pegs are put in square holes. But to that extent, I think it's good news. It's good day for Edo people. The list is finally out. Kudos to the governor. I appeal to him to quickly release the other 7. You know, our country has become something else. You have to do balancing local government by local government. Maybe it will be another day for us to talk about it, because all this profiling make you not to be able to get the best. Nothing happens if all the 12 commissioners come from Oredo and Benin is Eldorado. Who would care? And Edo State is Eldorado. But again, that's a story for another day. But kudos to the governor. The list is out. We want to see the other 7 come out so that we can start beginning to interrogate government properly.
Thank you very much, my brother Iremira. I'll quickly come to my brother Dr. Agmon. Dr. Agmon, for me as a person, okay, I must put my opinion here. What really matters to me is that Edo State moves forward. The Benin man says, interpreted, man see snake, woman kill him. The goal na make snake die, make snake carry while I go. The goal for someone like myself is that Edo State should be on the right path. Now, why is I will always talk about the word on the street, because the word on the street for someone like me matters a lot. You understand what I'm saying now? So the word on the street, now, are you not concerned that the word on the street is does not appear to look like they are interested in the deliverables or what is going to come out of those nominated, but they are rather looking at, how and who is making a list. Shouldn't the output of what this commissioner will give to Edo State be the major matter, focal point, instead of it not be this my brother, it not be the other one sister? That's what I want. So what's your take?
Thank you, my brother. Those are some of the fallout of our political evolution as a people. People don't know what governance is all about. And it's some of the things we were even talking about at the national level when we're talking about Nigeria and federal government just now. And this thing filters down to state level. A lot of people see politics as a vehicle to, suddenly just turn to big men. Oh, may I just go join APC or PDP? So when we just win election, I will come turn to big man. I go begin to buy Jeep, they build house, they build hotel, go buy house for Dubai, buy for South Africa. So that is the mentality a lot of our people have when they are in political parties, because they see it as a vehicle to now make money for themselves. Like you have rightly said, comrade, and Austin and the High Chief have said it too. What we should be concerned about now, whether citizens of Edo State, west from the high street, or west from the market or anywhere, is we putting our eyes on the ground and having a sense of these people, they must come to work for us. To be honest, I don't envy the governor in picking one person from each local government. And you find out that these names are even submitted from the parties at the local government level. This thing it's not a process. It's not as simple as many people look at it. So, they say from Ikpobaoka, they bring one man or woman. Oriomo, Ovia Northeast, Ovia Northwest, Akoko Edo, those local governments, they will be bringing one person. So there's a lot of intrigues. But I want to appeal to our politicians. They should know that I want to error. Edo where your boss your boss so let us do away with this. So the fact that you are in the political party and then does not mean that for the period you just be there, then you just go and use broom to sweep all the money you want to get all the appointment and all that. So we must separate those personal aggrandizement, those personal gain from the happiness of the majority of our people. So those are the challenges I see. That's why people are saying, oh, new PDP, old PDP, those that came with the governor from APC, getting that balance. I'm sure those are some of the things that cause all these delays that we've had. There's been a lot of undercurrent, and when you are not in the middle of political power play, and some of us we're talking from outside, we don't really know like you always say, comrade, the win-win that is going on inside. Some of the things really happening. So for me, I think when you really look at this list, like Austin said, Pharmacist Ramirez said, this is the caliber of people there. I even saw a son, SAN there, some lawyers. So these are people that are learned, but like it's been said on this program, the driver of this whole process is the governor. With the people of Edo State, we have to open our eyes and make sure that these people, they deliver for us, because sovereignty lies with us, the people.
Okay. Thank you very much, my brother. Actually, I'm going to come to you. Actually, I can tell you that you are very political and diplomatic in your response to questions. I probably understand why, but I'm going to ask you anyway. It is not news anymore that we have a lot of division within the PDP. From what we gather, some of these, divisions and interests, crossing each other and stuff like that, has been part of the things that have led to this process being delayed this much. Now, we can state, at least from some of course statements made publicly, that Chief Dan Obi, is a major force within the group they call OPDP, and has a lot of loyalists, including even the chairman, the state party chairman, Azegbemi. And of course, there are other camps within the same OPDP belonging to Ogiadome that don't quite agree with the camp of what's his name, Chief Dan Obi. And of course, we equally have the governor, who is working hard to get the entire PDP harmonized, because when the governor came from APC to PDP, the governor came with a number of APC members into PDP, and these members must be relevant. They must equally be accepted as PDP members, and the governor, had earlier embarked on the process of harmonization. And in the spirit of harmonization, particularly looking at the forthcoming national convention, the governor had a meeting a couple of days ago and invited stakeholders across board to attend the meeting. And we hear from sources that some segments of the fractions loyal to what's his name? Danobi did not attend the meeting. And then some other people were from amongst that group. They have begun circulating information saying that the meeting called by the governor widely attended, by a cross section of the PDP stakeholders, including those loyal to some other big wigs in the old PDP, and they are now beginning to say that the meeting is invalid and this and that and that. Meanwhile, for those of us who are observing from afar, we saw a meeting that was successful, even though a lot of word is out there to say, oh, and all, but we understand these intricacies. Now, the point I want to make, sir, Hatif,
Yes.
because you are one man who is very much aware of the time as far as politics is concerned in those states, most especially in Nigeria. When there is division like this, the governor, according to the PDP constitution, is the leader of the party. And if there are people rearing their heads to become the lords of the party, like people like as acclaimed, like Dan Obi, and all of these small divisions here and there, don't you see that, if it is true, as a bane to development? and advancement as far as PDP is concerned, and in turn affecting the progress of Edo State.
I will say thank you for the privilege, and I want to let you know that I do not sound diplomatic when I answer questions about politics in Edo State. I've been very privileged to see Edo State politics at a very close point. But I can tell you this, that the governor is the leader, so is the constitution saying the governor is in charge. He should expect rebellion from old members because this has happened before in Edo State. If you remember, in APC, when Oshomole came on board, he brought his members. We just moved them from ACN and to become APC. Up there, the then Governor Shomole said that no new member, no old member. What that statement means is this. It means that a new member can come and get an appointment while the old member is rejected. Nobody challenged it. And today, it has played up second time in Edo State. That is, new members angling for appointment. Old members say, no, we've been here before you. Then you go back and look at the roots of the negotiation that was entered into by the government with PDP old members before he got the ticket. I think that is where the answer is. But you're not going to get the answer, I can assure you, because Danobi stays so long in PDP, Hems of Affair, he no longer sees himself as a member, but as a maker. That is normal. And the way you can go about this problem is when the governor has cleared his nominees, the way they work will attract those dissenting voices to himself. As soon as they realize that this governor is meant good for the state of Edo, the situation will change. Until that time, you are going to have rancor here and there. And that's why I deliberately took you back to APC. Before APC, there was Matthew Atama that came from America. He single-handedly built up AC. Now, AC did not change to ACN at once. People funded it. When they moved to ACN, those guys lost out. You always find that in politics. But what I'm trying to advocate is, for once, allow Obaseki to run the show, his ideas. If you think it's wrong, you have an opportunity in 2024 to start asking questions. But what I'm worried about is this. When you pay for something, to allegedly, don't you expect a receipt? You will. Now, translate that to the situation in Edo State. What can we see a copy of the MOU that exported the APC governor on second tenure to PDP? That is where you will get the answer. And our people should stop crying more than the bereaved. If they fail to allow Obaseki to govern Edo State the way it should be, we'll just be where we are. Edo State have talent all over the world. We are looking for somebody like Obaseki to attract them back to Benin. If certain conditions are right, security, protection, light. You started a light program. I was expecting that by now, the people on the street should be applauding you for bringing in solar. That has not happened, but the governor is there, the state is there. Those are the people that can patronize the good you are doing for Edo people. What I'm trying to say is there are too many people talking about politics, forgetting there are other things they can do to move Edo State forward.
Wow. Dr. Agbon, politics indeed is very deep, as it were. But I'll quickly come to you, Dr. Agbon. Looking at this environment right now, I had to said just now that what is going to be the determining factor in all of this will be the performance of the team, the governor's team on the ground, as it were. Now, the governor is the leader of the party. Dr. Agbon, shouldn't the governor be given the leeway to be a proper leader? Because I did hear publicly when somebody said that for several months now, it's not running to over a year, the governor has not gone to seemingly pay homage to Chief Dan Obi. And that person responded and said the governor came to fight godfatherism. If the governor goes ahead to pay homage to Chief Dan Obi, it means that the godfatherism he came to fight is now, beginning to entrench the same godfatherism. Now, given all of these and all that is playing out, how, in your own opinion, kind of opinion, would you see Edo State run it under Governor Obaseki through 2024?
Thank you, comrade. This is a very tactical question, and I'm going to answer it openly as much as I can. Picking it from what we were saying last week, from what we now know, the truth of the matter is that this current Edo State governor, His Excellency Governor Obaseki, is not going to change his leadership style. And the earlier people get to understand this, the better. I think for him, the way he does his things is different from how other people will do it. And like High Chief Musa Amedu rightly said, we should allow him, those state people should support him to run the vision he has. Because all these distractions is not going to help anybody at all. So, and I support what the High Chief has said. Once these commissioners, special advisors, everything is constituted and great work is going, I believe everybody will be won over. To be honest, the average human being is selfish, but there are levels of selfishness. Everybody wants something for himself. So, but I believe that we should allow the governor, run with his vision, not in a dictatorial way. I think, for me, from what I now know, one of the things that have caused this delay is this old PDP, new PDP. That's people that came with the governor from the APC a lot. And I Chief just said it. I think that's just the other part of the simultaneous equation. This thing has happened before when AC came to form ACN. So these things do happen when a big politician leaves another platform and comes to a new one. So they have to be this merger. But I'm happy that this list is not complete yet. I believe every side of this, whether new PDP or old PDP, every side will be carried along. So people should be patient. And for the governor, what I see from what I now know, using that terminology again, the governor is not one that you can force mediocrity on. He doesn't do mediocrity. And the earlier people know that, the earlier they know it, the better. So for him, it is not business as usual. People may call him names and all that. So because when you want to change a system, my brother, you need to put your foot down, be ready to take insult and all that. And I think that is what is really happening now. But when the table turn and development, we can see evidence of everything going on, people will change mind. People will say, oh, we knew he was going to do well and all that. So we pray that will be our situation.
Yes, I want to quickly come to my brother, Comrade Show. Pharmacist, if I recall, the governor was elected by Edo people generally. He was not elected by PDP. And the mandate given to Governor Obaseki was a mandate to govern Edo State and Edo people. Now, the question I want to ask you, Pharmacist Remira, sometimes when I hear some of these kind of things, small things here, this one there, the other one there, the other one there, the other one there, when we have people running to 4 to 5 million that need to be attended to by this same governor, shouldn't this governor just yank off anybody who will not agree one follow and govern Edo people directly and deliver on the deliverables and the promise he made to fulfill the agenda of a mega Edo State? Is it not possible to do away with these people and see make governance as near perfect as possible.
Comrade Lamte, thank you very much. Let me say you are in the spirit. Because if you had not called me, anytime you called me, I would have said this. I just want to support what Dr. Agbons and I Chief has said. But mine, I want to take it a bit further now. There is no gentility in leadership. My brother Lamte, if you have a vision and you want to do it, you must see it through. And the way it is in Nigeria now, you must be ready to crush, offend, and be in the bad book of people. And let Edo State people be the judge. Dan Obi is not the only person in Edo State, and the other big wigs in the old PDP. Edo is for all of us. All Obaseki need to do, I've said it repeatedly in this program, is to pepper them. What you pepper them with? You pepper them with good governance. You pepper them with deliverables. And it will be the Edo State people that will be shouting hallelujah for you, and nobody will remember them. There is something also unique about Obaseki, which I think he's done well. He has allowed time to be the judge. You understand? And over time that he has waited, we can see that the same people he wanted are the same people that he finally got. He should just stay focused and be resolute. At the end of the day, nobody is going to ask about Dan Obi. They'll be asking about Obaseki. He has also paid the price, ultimately, when he moved to PDP. That price has a receipt. And the only receipt you can show to Edo State people is to deliver. So to answer your question strictly, he should just march forward, crush whoever he wants to crush, and deliver governance for Edo State people.
Thank you very much. Hi, Chief Musa Ahmedu. I just want to ask you on the last note, not a particular question. Okay, on the last note, for Edo State, because us here, our interest is that Edo State should move forward. Edo State should grow. Sir, given the state of things right now, we have a list of commissioners waiting to pass through the screening process at the level of the House of Assembly and be confirmed. We have we didn't discuss the two members of the advisors and all of that, but I don't think it matters more because they are asked to just to resume immediately. And of course, somebody like Crusoe has actually been a special advisor to the state governor on media matters. He's been there, and so he's going to carry on. But High Chief, to make the governor get it right, what should he be doing going forward?
I think the governor is already getting it right, because if you look at the list of his commissioners, you will see that he is confident. And if you study his body language, that these are the people he can use to deliver the mandate he has been given. That's wonderful. Consistency will be a watchword. And at the same time, his level of openness is fine. And he shouldn't panic or worry about old PDP members, leaders. It's not old PDP members, but the old PDP members, leaders who have failed to face reality that it is all about give and take, and they cannot revisit the MOU they entered when he came on board, that things and time have really moved. And if that is done, it will attract the diaspora. The diaspora is a key here because the diaspora have a lot of role to play in Edo State. Economics, social reengineering, policy formulation, those are things he can get for free, because a lot of people in diaspora have an idea how their state should look like. And it is very shameful if we don't think like this, because when we refer back to when Benin was ECN and so on, it's a sign of failure and a sign of weakness. If the descendant of people who created a Benin colony, a Benin republic years back, trading with the Portuguese, are now unable to bring themselves together and form a decent state for Edo in continuity and in perpetuity, it will be highly embarrassing. But I'm not foreseeing that at all. I just think Obaseki is fine. We should talk less and just be patient in the sense that always allow a process to evolve and get to its terminal point before you make your comment, so you don't end up contradicting yourself. Edo can only be better. I think Obaseki is doing well because he's thinking diaspora as well. Edo cannot be developed by one individual, but the fresh synergy between those on ground and the diaspora people is a very big welcome development. That is so because Obaseki and Shaibu have made it possible. And I just think we need to take the part of positivism. That is, let's just be looking only for the better and stop thinking what the old order is doing in Edo State. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, High Chief Musa Ahmedu. Dr. Agbon, anything different from what High Chief Musa Ahmedu has said that you think the governor should do, to make Edo a better place?
Yeah, nothing really different. I think High Chief has just put an icing on the cake. We should, Edo State people, both at home and in diaspora, we should be patient. From again, like I would say, from what we now know, I think the governor is on the right trajectory. We are going to see a deluge of deliverables from what we now know. And when you look at that list, I'm still doing my own personal research. The people on that list, they are not pushovers, and some of them, they are people that even in the years to come, they are going to be in the political equation of our state. So they cannot afford to mess up their names. I'm really gladdened, and people must know this. I think it was Pharmacist Austin that said it. Leadership is not about gentility. Most of us who are talking here, we have led one group or association. Either you have been chairman or secretary, or you know how it is. Leadership, you must be ready. That's why they say, uneasy lies the head that wear the crown. So let us pray and support the current leadership in Edo State. They mean well. And I want to also appeal to politicians. This is a new order. It is not going to be politics as usual as it used to be. We cannot fight godfatherism just 2 years ago and then build another empire of godfatherism in the name of anybody again because you are old this or new that. So let us all work together for the betterment of the people of our state. Edo must move forward.
Thank you very much. Yes, just on the same line of question, coming from Mrs. what do you think is different?
Thank you so much. I just want to say, regrettably, Nigeria is the only country where you reward poor performance with more poor performance. How can a man that has not won an election for 10 years just on the wayside? If you pass me, Comrade Lamte, I wanted to take a swipe on the media people. Are we talking about them now, or Comrade?
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, in that media team at the moment, we have Crusoe Saige and Mrs. Saingbedo. I'm happy that there's a female folk there, so at least they can checkmate themselves. I remember whenever women are involved.
No, for a correction, Saingbedo is not part of the media team. Crusoe is the special advisor to the governor on media project is Crusoe Saige. Sarah Esangbedo Adjose Adeogun is special advisor on strategy, policy, projects, and performance management.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that clarification, because I really would like to. I hope Crusoe Saige is listening. It doesn't need any confirmation. We said this many first term. Communication is very key. When you don't communicate to the people, you create a vacuum. Is that the opportunity to come again for the second time? Please, that media house should be beefed up so that whatever is going on in government, the people get it firsthand and from them. Because if that is done, the remaining 3 years, we cannot convey whatever the government and the governor is doing. So I think that department need to really be shaken up so that they can do a lot better than what they did previously.
Very much, my brother. I think that from what we now know, that the governor is working very hard to make the media arm, more effective, structurally and otherwise. And hopefully in the coming weeks, we are going to be seeing the impact of that. I equally want to add, from information reaching us from some sources very close to, to the heart of the matter, the list of commissionership, this one is just to leak an information rightly or wrongly, may not actually be a thing. It may actually be up to 22 or even 24, as the case is that the government is going to release. So which means that for those who are feeling left out, there is still very big room for considerations to be made. You understand what I'm saying now? And all of that. That information is filtering in from some different sources, in the state and all of that. And I hope that that is true. And if it is true, the room is big enough for everybody to, if the minds are together, Joko is big enough for everybody to sit on. Having said that, I want to, say a very big thank you to all of you, jolly good fellows, wonderful people of the Comrade Show, for being part of this process, particularly to Haiti Musa Amendo, who agreed out of his very busy schedule to, of course, grant us this moment, to be with us. Haiti, thank you so very, very much. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. I'm grateful. If you call on me anytime, I will be available.
God bless you, sir. Much appreciated, sir. Yes. I equally want to quickly, say a very big thank you to Tony and Mons. I know that you still have a few things to say, but include your response, your thank you response to what you are going to say, sir. Go ahead.
No, this one is not thank you response. Maybe you start Austin. He's very good with saying thank you. What I want to say is that very briefly, people who wants to work with Governor Obaseki, why do you cook bagba? What I mean is that tighten your bet. He's that man is a workaholic, so it's not going to be business as usual. So I know a lot of people they want to be commissioners, they want to be special advisors and all that, but it's going to be a lot of workload go day. So make una ready to work. I greet all Edo people. But here we say.
Thank you very much, Dr. Agmon. Dr. Agmon just advised, if you are privileged to serve in this government, you have to Yukuk Bagba. Yukuk Bagba may not have English transliteration, but simply put, you've got to tighten your bet because it's not business as usual. Yes, over to you, my brother Austin Iremira. Just your last word before we call it a day for this segment.
Thank you so much, Comrade Lante, for today's show and for anchoring this program, and for my fellow panelists, Dr. Tony Agbons and whatever courageous I Chief Musa Amedu. Just before I go, I want to thank everybody that has contributed on the platform with the chat. I want to thank very specially Divine Greatness for all your contributions. I'm not going to throw punches. I'm just a concerned Edo person that want the best for Edo State. So I'm not going to throw any punches. On that note, I want to say thank you so much for being part of us. Please stay out of trouble. We'll see you again next Sunday as we come your way for our Sunday tonic.
Thank you very much, my brother. I have not really made any contributions to see. However, I just like to say that we want a better Edo State. And of course, the governor, is, of course, on a trajectory to deliver that better Edo State. And all we will say, like we'll be saying in this program, is we need to allow the governor to do the job. And for the political bigwigs, it is better for us to join hands with the governor, no matter what it is, and all of that. Let's be generous to Edo State. let's not be too selfish, for the interest of Edo State, because beyond now, all of you guys on the field right now, you will leave, Edo will remain, and governance will continue, and all of that. So let's work towards the legacy that we leave when we have the opportunity and the privilege, but let's join hands with the governor. I can tell from what we know that the government is already working the work. Very likely, by the grace of God, distant time, things will be a lot more visible. And from the Comrade Show, I want to assure us that as soon as the commissioners come on board, we will do our best to ensure that we follow every ministry to know what they are doing and bring say to the public view, so that we can all participate in the process. We can no longer leave governance for just a few persons. We will be part of the process, directly and indirectly, of course, contributing. And the good thing about it is that when I use the word on the street, the government listens, the government listens, everybody listens. And that is what it is at the moment. When the word is out there on the street and all of that, it's a public matter. And so the authorities, it is only when the word is on the street that we're able to bring the authorities to attention to say, this is not the matter when you do, we like Amo, we don't like Amo, and all of that. But at the end of the day, whether you are part of government or you are just an ordinary person, we are all on the street because our ears are on the street. And to that extent, the word on the street will always matter. On that note, Edo people and Nigerians across the world, it's been a Comrade Show. My name is Comrade Show. I want to thank you, our brothers and friends on Facebook and on YouTube. Thank you very much for participating for me part of this process. Please, same time next week, 5 p.m. Nigerian time, 5 p.m. UK time. Join us. We're going to be back again. Of course, hopefully to look at other matters that may have cropped up as far as Edo State matter is concerned. And maybe Nigeria possibly, So my people, thank you so much. Now do work catabolically. And it is my pleasure to say bye for now.
Make Comrade Show way. Comrade Lante Oriake. Live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us. Follow us and be the first to know. This is the Comrade Show.